Hello there, this is Marcio, and I invite you to this presentation to reflect about assistants and browsers, or how assistants can help us. Apologies there, I'm in front of the title. How can an AI assistant help us to browse the web? All right. So the first thing I want to say here is that we're not generally browsing the web for browsing the web. We are either working or studying, collaborating with others. There are many use cases, but we are focusing something. And the other thing is, if we're talking about assistance and browsing the web, of course, this Reflector involves using a browser. I'm using here Brave browser because I like Brave browser. I downloaded recently, very nice, many functions, values, interesting things. Brave as a tool, as a browser, helps me. Okay, so a starting point here, if we're talking about assistants or AI assistants helping with more than browsing the web, with working, with leisure activities, with studying, for example, I want to give us a context. This context is, and this page gives us this beginning, this good starting point. Is there are so many things a browser vendor, a browser as a tool gives us interesting things for us, values. Okay. So, for instance, this is the new page. When I open a new window, I see this page. This is an example, right? And it gives me this background by a photographer. I can see there on the left hand side. And also there are elements on the right hand side, the elements at the top, right? So let us see what's going on here in terms of this communication, this experience that this browser tool is telling me, right? To help me, of course. So on the right hand side, I have a panel there. If I tap the first element there, it's talk, and it says start a private video call with your friends and colleagues. Start a call, etc. Then I have another element that says rewards. Earn tokens for private ads you see in Brave, and I can read more. That's another function or service that is bundled here, right, in this page. And also I have Brave VPN, powered by Guardian, extra privacy and secure online, hide your IP and change your location. Those three topics are given on the right hand side. Now let's talk about the left hand side at the top. There are elements there giving me stats, for instance, about the trackers and ads blocked by Brave. You see, interesting value. I know Brave blocks ads. I like that. And also, the other thing about Brave, on the annoying cookie consent pop-ups, Brave also blocks those pop-ups. So again, values. I can see recent tabs that I used before. For instance, if I tap there Unsplash, the photo site, it opens this tab. I'm going to go back to the oh, actually it didn't go back to that screen. Oh, it did. Okay, good. The new photo, that's fine. So instead, replacing, I open it as a new tab. Unsplash, for instance, my personal website I used in a prior session. Here's a website about a psychologist that I visited before. All right, good. So the context is their values. When you open a new page, Brave browser is telling me. You can see this, the search, the web privately. That's Brave's function, another function, great function. Brave values, right? Good. Now, there are other ways you can access these values, right? For instance, if you download the browser in the beginning, it gives you a bar, a sidebar on the right hand side. Okay, I'm gonna turn on so you get the idea. So in my case, I'm simplifying the UI, but basically, the first time I downloaded Brave, it brought me this sidebar on the right hand side, and you can see it had icons there like bookmarks and, for instance, the Brave Talk, which is that the function for creating conference talk session, and icons. So I through with icons on the sidebar and the toolbar, and also in the URL bar. See, I did remove um, the icons that I saw in the beginning there to simplify, but they had like three icons in the URL bar on the right hand side. Okay, so why? Because these are interesting values. This browser vendor, Brave, believes it's worth it to put these icons there. So I'm presenting that as a situation for us, but also as a complication. And so then if we go back to the theme, right? The theme where we're going is let us reflect about this AI assistant, AI agent or assistant experience to help us to browse the web. Yes, that's the context. But also, you see, a complication there is when we browse the web, this browser tool is helping me with a better browsing experience. So now I ask us to reflect about the idea of an assistant that is helping me to browse the web. Because right now, for instance, if I go to the page of this psychologist in Brazil, and let us say this is an example of a professional, a page of a professional, and let us say that you were that she were editing her site and she wanted to change the title there of that section. And then right now in Brave, you can access the context menu and tap Leo AI tools. And for instance, right, there is explain or rewrite and paraphrase and improve. And I can tap improve. And if you tap improve, that opens the sidebar panel with the assistant, with the AI assistant right there. And that's very nice. You see, in the chat, it's like a shortcut with that uh, action activity to improve. And then sobre a terapia, the result is improved. The result is about therapy. So there are many nice things indeed that these models can do for us. But now ask, I'm going to close that Leo AI as it is right now. And I go back to that screen and I ask us to think about all this interesting Brave VPN and talk and rewards and ad blocking and other privacy features and the search and the bookmarks and creating and taking screenshots, for instance, right? There's a feature in Brave so that you can take a screenshot, a screen capture of the page. All these functions, I wonder, and I ask us to think about this. Can we use an assistant to help us to understand and to browse the web better, to navigate and be exposed and to learn about these functions, to take advantage of these communicative, these experiences? Right. So let us open a kind of a different idea. This is a prototype, right? So for practical purposes, I didn't use the Leo, but that's the same thing, the idea, right? The idea here is I call it Brave Meeting. The context is, can you use this system to help me browse the web and access these functions, these Brave values, for example, right? I'll give you an example. I'm going to tap right there. So this the first thing here before the example. Oh, actually, let's go with the example. Bookmarks. Wait, I typed it incorrectly. Bookmarks. Yes. So I see my bookmarks or tabs. I see these tabs. So what's going on here? It's different maybe because you see the icons on the right hand side. There's my profile icon there, and there's the Brave icon there. So in this case, I'm using Brave icon. I'm not even going like from the idea of Brave to Leo icon. No, 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 that's Brave. My assistant is the browser, right? It could be other browser. It could be the Chrome browser. It could be the ChatGPT browser. But basically, we are together there. See these two circles, they overlap because we are working together. Again, we're not browsing for browsing. We're in a meeting. That's why so far the title for this in the terms of this demonstration here is Brave Meeting. When I implemented this prototype the first thing I wanted to do is like to edit that title, when you tap there and say, oh, yeah, because I'm studying right now, right? So that's the kind of thing that I'm asking us to think about here, to consider that what's going on here when you're about to work or to study is a a conversation that is happening, right? And of course, with the case that I gave you, we're talking with this agent about the things the browser does. I'll give another example. Instead using an icon to take a screenshot, I could type screenshot. So right now, I see a pointer on the left hand side and I can take a screenshot. And you see the screenshot appears there because that's the conversation. That's the narrative that is happening in this session. So that's a different way to see a browsing session. Because again, we're not browsing, we're working or we're studying, right? First point. And then they're going to say, oh, yeah, well, but wait. Where are the models, right? Well, I'll give you an example. Could you give me my tabs? So in this case, I'm using voice and it's using a model behind the scenes, a service, but then I see my tabs. And I can say in Portuguese, poderia me dar meus bookmarks? Could you give me my bookmarks? Then I have my bookmarks. And again, but this simple example, there are three functions here, right? Can I take a screenshot? All right, taking a screenshot there. But there are many other values that this Brave product gives me. And what if, when I'm talking with this agent, when I'm having a conversation with this agent, what if I interact with these interesting functions, just like in this example? So that's it for now. This is a reflection asking us to think about that, about the assistant being the actual browser, right? In the first place, and to be conscious about the so many interesting browser functions. Before we end this session, I'm gonna open. I'm gonna give you two cases. One is I'm gonna open a one of the settings page of Brave. Okay, there are many internal pages that this browser tool gives us. Say the history and bookmarks and the panel for downloads. They're like right away I see more than 20 different panels, internal things and screens that the browser gives me. What if all those, there are more than 20, who knows, maybe there's 100 different screens that you can interact with the browser settings and functions. What if all of those user interaction flows, then we give to this assistant the responsibility for helping me to interact with these things. Okay, so all right, that's one case. Now you see I sent a picture there. So but that's not the only thing, right? When we're talking about this AI assistant aware about the browsing session helping me, of course all the other flows, all the other use cases for interacting in terms of interacting with the external models applies. So I'll give you an example here, right? And of course in this prototype it's a hack, but can I publish that screenshot? There's an assumption here that the screenshot is aware about the last screenshot sent, and it's basically connecting with a different function to actually publish a web page. And of course, now behind the scenes, what's happening is a publishing process, and a new page is going to be created. And when that's ready, this agent gives me back the link to that page. All right. And I'm talking slowly because I'm waiting in this demonstration for the actual results to appear, right? All right. See, there's a screenshot and a page published. I click the link there and it gives me this page. And that didn't work. You can't see the screenshotting there, right? So let us try again. Take this. Can you publish that page for me? Right? Publish command appears there in this conversation. There's a publishing process going on in the backend. Computer is quite slow as well. Right. The page, yes. Now I see, you see, it is a that's a page that I could ideally share with the user. With in this case, the screenshot is inside the frame because it's kind of a fancy flow there that's specific to a need case I have. But just wanted to point out to you that this assistant is helping me with the actual flow. And here's an example of the many published page I created with the assistant as well. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope this video helps us with the reflection about AI agent assistant in the browser, helping us to browse the web more than that to work or to study and specific use flows. All right. And thank you. Also, mm, thankful to Brave Browser. Thank you very much.